This is Cigar Night with Rick Guzman, and I'm here with my good man, Adrian Berumen. My man, what is going on, bro?
What isn't going on is the question, I guess. 2020 hitting like a truck, right?
That's right, bro. Yes, sir. Adrian Berumen, you are the host of the podcast Detached from the Surface.
That's right.
Let's talk about that, bro. How did you get into a podcast now?
Well, I think it was a little too late, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm about to graduate from the University of Texas, degree in government. At this point, I've done 0 internships. I've done 0 investigations into trying to see if I can work at a law firm or anything. But to be quite honest, it's not even what I want to do.
Wow.
Quite frankly, I just want to get into politics and get into like public service without all the BS, without all doing the extra stuff that I don't really need to do if you do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So the first step is getting your political ideals out into the public, and your own social circle. After that, then you begin to try to expand your audience. And I thought, hey, what better way than a podcast, right?
Yeah, man. That's good. And podcasts are right now, I mean, it seems like everyone's doing a podcast, right? Like everyone has one.
Right.
But honestly, like, it's still cool. And
no, I mean, I don't think there's ever an issue with too many podcasts.
No. And you'd be surprised, like, the feedback you get.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I remember when I first started this podcast, it was like only 3 people listen to
Mm-hmm.
it. But actually, like, there's a lot of people who, like, are interested in this
yeah,
stuff.
but I mean, there will if somebody has even like the slightest common belief as you,
Mm-hmm.
or similar ideals, or they just like the vibe of what you bring to the table, they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
That's.
And we'll talk about all the podcasts and how you got into it and where you're going with it. But right now, we're outside, man. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day.
We got the highway in the background. It's all right, bro. It's all good. Hey, this is Cigar Night, right?
Hey.
We got to smoke cigars during the podcast.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't smoked a cigar in a fat minute.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in the theme.
Well, let's do it, bro. Okay, so
Okay,
you're gonna be
what's up?
smoking. What do you got?
I don't know. La Aurora.
Ah, the 115.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but educate me. What is this?
It's a cigar. That is
Okay.
a cigar. I got it today, so I've never smoked that before. So I'm sorry if you don't like it.
That's fine.
But the Aurora 115, it looks like a Maduro. You can
Mhm.
tell by the darkness of the leaf. It looks like it's not a Churchill. It looks, like a Robusto size. It looks like a good smoke, man. And I got that today just for you.
Oh wow,
Yeah, man. We also got cedar shirts for us. We got this amazing torch by Rocky Patel. Everything I ever wanted in life. Yeah.
it looks sick.
It's like a lightsaber, bro. And you have a punch cut in the bottom.
Now cigars, you're not supposed to like inhale, right? It's all in the taste, all about
It's all about the taste. Exactly.
and
So I'm gonna be smoking a Yaki cigar, and this is actually shout out to Yaki Cigars. They are a company that hit me up probably halfway when I started the podcast, or maybe about 5-6 months ago, and they were like, "Hey, we love your podcast. Can you try our cigars?" And they're a new company from Mexico.
Oh,
they sent
nice.
me some great samples, and Yaki Cigars, this is the last one I have from them. So they're a great company. Check them out if you're into cigars. Up and coming cigar brand from Mexico, handmade. Yaki Cigars, you can't go wrong with them. So I'm gonna smoke the last one I have. This one's called the Hemingway that they make. So we'll see how it goes today. But hey, let's light up, bro. If you want to try the punch cut,
yeah, so tell me, like, where am I going from? Where's the attack on this thing? Because
Yeah.
this side I see is closed.
yeah. So
I'm-
the back's a cap. Right,
Okay.
so it's a cap basically. You're gonna be lighting it on this side, okay? So
Right.
I don't know if I brought the cigar cutter out, but not to worry, because I have on my handy dandy lighter that has a punch cut. So basically, a punch cut. Instead of cutting it, the cap, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna punch it. And some people like this more because it has more of a draw, and so the draw is the easiness of how you can smoke it, get the smoke out of the cigar.
How much these cigars cost?
It depends, man. A good cigar, like you see how it's punched in there.
Yeah.
Instead of cutting it.
Right. Yeah.
There you
Now
go.
you got circulation. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mine's already cut, so we're good there. A cigar can cost. Oh man, I have seen a cigar go about $45 a stick.
Oh wow.
Good name brands, a good cigar. Cohiba, Rocky Patel.
Because I know the stigma around them is like it's more classy. It's not like
Yeah.
a cigarette, right?
Exactly.
Like you're not gonna just go buy this at a convenience store.
Exactly. So all right. So, boom. You got a cigar. You got a badass lighter. You're not gonna inhale it, right?
Right,
You smoked
right,
cigars
right.
before.
Right.
All right.
I just need to make sure there's something I wasn't doing right the first time.
So, this lighter is very strong.
Yeah, I
So
saw
don't
that.
get it so close to your face. You're gonna inhale. Now, going back to your question, yeah, pop the top. Going back to your question, a cigar, it can go about. I mean, a good brand, like for me, Rocky Patel is probably one of my favorites. It's about $10 a stick, $11 a stick. It's always better buying them a box. I mean, you'll get a better deal buying as a whole, not per stick, right? There you go. If it ever runs out, don't worry. So the reason I bought this torch, Rocky Patel they're one of my favorite cigars, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had the opportunity to meet him a while back, last year, almost a year ago, in fact. And I was talking to him, having a conversation, and this guy pulls it out of his pocket because his cigar was going out, and he just turns it on.
He pulls that out of his pocket
like nothing. Bro.
It's not.
And he just lights it on fire.
Necessarily a small.
And I was like, Jesus, what is this, man? And ever since then, I've been after it, and I finally got to buy it. So it was a little treat to myself. Yeah, man.
Wow, this is definitely this is a whole different taste than a cigarette.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean the few I've had have been with my buddy Gabe. You know Gabe, right?
Yeah.
And he very rarely will have them, but for him it's just like kind of like a one-time thing. He goes out and enjoys a cigar. But man, this is totally
it's good
different
stuff, man.
than
we gotta get Gabe, we gotta get you, we gotta come here.
Yeah.
Cigar
Man, don't tell Gabe. He'll be
man.
all over
if
this.
He hears this episode, and he will be like, man, we gotta go. So, Detached from the Surface, man.
Yes, sir.
It's a new podcast. You're what, 3 episodes in now? Going
3.
on 4?
Yep. 4th will release this Saturday. It might be a little bit different.
Okay.
We're gonna do a single take, just me.
Sometimes you gotta do that. I realize it's you can't always have guests.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback where my opinions and my perspectives and what I say is sometimes getting a little swayed and getting a little lost. Just because it's always great to bring outside opinions, but sometimes at the end of the day, I am the host. They want to hear what I gotta say too, and see where I'm coming from. And I think this next episode is just gonna be really about laying it all on the line. What do you want to hear? Give me this, give me that. Follow this, blah 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 blah. To try to get somewhere of my own platform built.
It's good, man. It's a great episode, great podcast.
Thanks.
Thanks, bro. I'm not a big political person. All right, politics has never really been my thing. So,
but you're a cop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of coming to you right now, huh?
Kind of like that. As far as state laws and local laws, absolutely. But when it comes to like let's talk politics. I'm like, that's not my cup of tea. Like, I just don't know anything about it. Like, I just smoke cigars, bro. Like,
right.
So why politics? What intrigued you in that?
Well, I'll probably go as far as back as middle school. I did debate.
Yeah.
Love debate. Not many kids like debate, first of all. Debate's probably like the last on the list. You got like band, orchestra, choir,
I would
theater.
choose debate over chess.
Right. Chess. Well, I don't.
Debate club or chess club?
I was in both, but that's all I got to.
I was in robotics club. It's okay.
Robotics is cool too, but middle school I joined debate, loved it, succeeded in it, and I said, okay, well if I'm kicking ass in middle school, and again I'm a kid in middle school, doing some pretty good things, and I said, well, it could translate into high school, and then found some really, really, really good success in high school, and then I realized what I love doing is arguing. I love arguing. I love the analytics behind it. I love coming prepared with an argument, informed and ready to make a case for your side. And then that translated into, okay, well, what can I do with that in the real world that's not just somebody who's bitching all the time? Right. And I could be being a spokesman, you could do a few things. You can go on radio, you can go on television. I'm not really not that I can act, but it's just not my
You
scene.
rather just do voice.
Yeah. And so being a voice for the people,
hey,
found it being
Detached from the Surface.
Right, voice for the people, and that's what a politician does. But I think politicians get like a bad rap though. So usually when you tell somebody that you're gonna go into politics and you want to be a politician one day, they think, wow, first you're a crook, or like, wow, the job you're going into is corrupt, And the reasoning I give to everybody is pretty simple. I'm going to go in. I'm going to fix what's been happening for the past 50 years because it's been nothing but diversity, and too much diversity has caused polarization between parties, and now everybody hates the government, right? When the government you should be working with the government, not against it.
That's true.
Yep, that's the plan,
That's
at least.
So do you want to, you say you're about to graduate college with your major in political science. What's the future? What do you see yourself doing with that? I mean, you got this podcast going, which is awesome. The voice of the people, I love it. What's the goal, man? What's the dream, Mr. Berumen?
To be in Congress.
Okay, wow,
yeah,
nice.
To be in Congress. I'd say that I've seen enough congressmen pass through my lecture halls, and seen enough congressmen on television and speaking wise, and it's gonna sound a little cocky and arrogant, but some of these guys, man, they are not fit for the job.
Sure.
Like I'm like, yeah, I could do better than you.
Oh yeah. I believe that.
Yeah, you look at them, and then maybe it's their age. That's fair, but maybe it's just that they're representing a district that's lower population. People weren't that into it, and
right.
Now they're in Congress, and there's definitely some poor representatives in Congress that when I look at them, and if they could do it, for sure I could do it.
Right.
That's
and with Congress, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no. Is like president? There's a term. Mm-hmm. Is there that for Congress?
There's a term limit. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's not a term limit. I mean, like you could serve as long as you want in Congress, but the election cycles are different. So, like, if I was going to be a senator in Congress one day, that would go every 6 years. I'd have to
every 6 years you rerun.
Correct.
But you can run as many times as you want.
You can run as many times as you want. Yeah.
Do you feel like that's an issue though?
I think with the senator, yes and no. Mm-hmm. So you can get into a situation like we're kind of at now with Texas, where Texas is starting to get pretty blue. I think it used to be predominantly Republican, but now as we get closer to the election, and it's looking a little bit undecided. We're a swing state actually for the next election. So let's say in the instance Texas goes blue, and we've got 2 Republican senators because they were voted 6 years ago apiece. That's a little bit of an issue. That's misrepresentation. Majority are Democrat, and they have a Republican senator representing them. So
you want to have both sides of the coin.
Right. Well, it doesn't even necessarily need to be both sides. It just needs to be the side that is predominant in that state. So, like,
I see what.
So, like, for instance, there could probably be like a ratio of 53 Democrat representatives and 40 Republican representatives. The 53 definitely is bigger than the 40. So you would preferably want a Democratic senator or a Democratic governor. But like I said, Texas is historically Republican. So right now, as it sits, there are more Republicans than Democrats in Texas. And that's why on the national level, you won't see a Democrat represent Texas. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. But not to say that it can't change. And that's why I think the issue comes about when these terms. So 6 years is a long time.
Yeah.
It's Ted Cruz. You saw in the last election, not many people were happy. He won.
Yeah.
He won by a narrow margin, though.
Right.
And we would imagine in the next election for himself, he's not going to
work for it again.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's my thing is with all that stuff, and again, I'm not an expert like you. Like, I don't know anything.
I'm not an expert. I haven't graduated yet or gotten a job in anything. But
my thing is just like, I feel like sometimes when someone's doing a job for so long, you get burnt out. You might not even care about it anymore. You lose the reason of why you join. And so with like Congress or Supreme Court, where it's for life, it's like, hey, let someone else like get a chance.
Yeah, I think the Supreme Court is it's a special case because there's a study that shows as justices get older, their opinions on things tend to get a little bit more progressive, a little more liberal, and
the ideas change, right?
Right. But in time, you don't see that. Like, you might not see that in your immediate lifetime. Somebody else might not see that in their lifetime. So, there's some. Like I said, I agree. I can see both sides. Yeah, I get it. Term limits. Yeah, unlimited. But when you're getting that to a point now, like for instance, Trump is appointing a new Supreme Court nominee, and it's going to be his third, and 3 conservative court members for life. It's a little unheard of, uncharted territory. So it could make an argument for like constitutional amendment, but who knows?
We'll see where that goes.
Right.
how's COVID been treating you, man?
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it gave me more time to start the podcast, and it gave me time to kind of think about where I want to go, and I'm thankful that it happened at the time it did, to be quite honest. Because before I did have a lot on my plate, and I was working at T-Mobile, which if you need an upgrade, all right, T-Mobile, come to me. And I was also a full-time student at UT.
Yeah.
Part-time worker at a bingo hall.
Right.
And I recently got a puppy, so that's
nice.
Yeah, her name is Hazel. She pees and poops everywhere, so I could not imagine having a dog going to class every week.
Right. So it's beneficial that everything kind of went virtual.
Right. It's been, and I've got a girlfriend who lives in San Antonio too, and I live in Kyle, so that drive is not far. I mean, it took me like an hour to get here, so it's not terrible. But if I'm going from Central Austin at UT here,
it's a drive.
It's a drive. It's a little bit.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad COVID has.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I even got like a promotion with my work because of COVID. Like Sprint and T-Mobile merged. I became a trainer for a short time. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, T-Mobile bought out Sprint. I became a trainer for some short time. They gave me a temporary raise, and that was nice. And I think I've made the most of it. Especially, I mean, shoot, there were like that stimulus check that came in, setting it aside for investments, and then plan to build like a. What is it called? Like a real estate investment and real estate program too, in the future with that. Lot coming.
Yeah, and so the thing is, a couple of episodes back, I had Matt Shavers on the podcast, and he talked about his experience with COVID, and he said the exact same thing. Like, man, oh yes, you need.
Oh yeah, I need that lighter, man.
Absolutely, go burn that cigar, man. He talked about how he used the advantage of the time, being at home. Use that advantage that you have. And so for the people I've talked to, I think a lot of people have had, not that COVID is a good thing, right? Like,
by no means is
good. But talking to the people I have, in my close friends, I'm glad that they saw the light in it. Mm-hmm. They didn't were like, oh man, the world's gonna end. No,
I mean, there are some people I have seen that, God, man, I don't know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
Like they either took it too far, like they haven't been out of their house at all.
Yeah, I know people like that.
Or they've been sitting at their house. Not that they want to be in their house, they just haven't gone, and let's say they are unemployed, they haven't gone to search for another job, they haven't gone to find any hobbies that they could do. They've just been really just sitting around, I don't know, smoking, drinking, doing whatever. I mean, they're getting their life in check now. I mean, they're getting back on track and realizing this thing's here to stay for a little bit, so they have to kind of get back on the horse. But before, no, it's a little sad. People were, I thought in the very beginning, people were very adamant of coming together and solving COVID together, but then it soon became political, and
it has, right?
It
became so political.
It did.
So I asked this to all of my friends, and I have a specific person. I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a specific person I want to bring on the podcast because he's all about conspiracy theories. Right, and so like I know he'll blow it out of the water, but I want to ask you. I mean, do you think that like COVID's real? Do you think it's a legit?
Yeah,
disease?
I think it's real.
Okay.
I think it's real. I don't know if. See, the only issue I have is I don't know how these tests are being done. I don't know the chemistry behind it. I don't know the biology behind it. I don't know a lot of the science behind it. And if I looked at the science, I still wouldn't know because I'm not a science guy, right? And I think the only people that really, really know the severity of it are the people who are higher up, working in the lab, seeing it.
Yeah.
And is it like, for instance, I think I got really, really sick for a 3-day period.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and I went and got tested. It was like the worst fever I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
So if that's my comparison of what like the average flu is, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's worse than your average flu, and if you're weak, then that definitely could have caused some damage.
Was it COVID? Did you get positive?
So I got a negative test.
Okay.
But I'm seeing so many false negs, positives out there, and that's like, man, I need some answers.
So I got tested, and I said this in previous episodes, and I don't know if I said the whole story. I turned negative. But man, I did not feel good. Like those 3 to 4 days, I felt like ass, bro. And I didn't get tested. Like I waited and it came back negative because I felt better. I was like, I'm good. But those 3 days, I was like, man, I'm hot. I don't feel good. Something feels weird, bro.
You were on a fever?
No, that was the weird thing.
See, I had a really bad fever.
See, I didn't have a fever. Like I kept taking my temp checks, like nothing, but I felt hot. I'm like, bro, it's hot. Like you're not hot. Like, bro, I'm sweating.
Yeah,
and then it's like, how I don't feel good. Like not like
something's wrong.
Yeah, like I don't feel right. And I stayed like that for a little bit. It was over a weekend period, I remember, and then it kind of went away. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, bro, what if I have it, bro? My parents, like, my friends, like, oh man, everyone I've seen.
I mean, they're the questions you should ask, right?
Yeah, and so I did get tested, and it came back negative, so it put me at ease. But those 3 days, man,
I don't know about that either.
And the shitty part of it is that any little thing you felt, COVID,
right?
Like, you got a headache, bro? It's COVID. I'm like, So I had a friend who got tested because his stomach would hurt, all this shit, right? Bro, it turned out like he drank too much coffee. Like the doctor's like, nah, bro, how much coffee you drinking? Like I don't know, 4 cups or whatever. I don't know.
Fuck.
And he was like, nah, you gotta cut down, bro. Like it's shit like that. But with the system and the environment and social media, it's like, like any little thing, like you gotta test. So and then it puts that anxiety on you.
And I think also things are getting a little more relaxed. Too relaxed for my liking, to be quite honest. I mean, I used to be able to go to HEB and they would take it pretty dang seriously.
No, it's just like went away.
Yeah, and then now I've got somebody breathing on the back of my neck while I'm in line, and I'm like, okay, man, come on.
Yeah, I was at a store, and it's like, it's optional if you want to wear your mask. I'm like, I'm going to wear my mask.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know stores have that optional.
I don't think they should. I think it was just them. Yeah, man, COVID has been an interesting time period. 2020 has been an interesting time period.
What about you? Have you handled COVID well? I mean,
sort of. So yeah, I
fill me in too. Like I see everything. Like, are you a cop? Officially a cop now?
Academy?
Cop,
like I'm a cop, bro.
You are a certified.
I am a sworn-in police officer.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And I have a politician here with me, man.
Yeah, hopefully, right?
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us. Yeah. So I was in the police academy during COVID. I started off normal, but COVID kind of changed some stuff up. So for me, 2020, even though it's been weird because of COVID, 2020 was going to be weird for me anyways because of the police academy. Because I knew it was going to throw me all off. It was my first semester out of college, so like it's my first semester. It was my first time like not being in school. I mean, the academy felt like school, but so I knew 2020 was going to be weird because like I was going to be working through the summer, which is like my first time because usually I'm in like off during the summer because of school. So I knew 2020 was going to be weird, right?
Right.
But so for me, 2020, even though it was weird, COVID made it a little bit more weird, but I stayed at work. Like, we shut down the academy probably a week because, like, precautions.
Yeah, I mean, how else can you can't just shut down the police force, too.
No. So we shut down for a week, academy-wise. But for the most part, we got lucky. Like, we had a couple cases, people became positive, but it never spread to the point where everyone got sick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got kind of lucky in that sense. There's a lot of studies. I mean, if you think about it, like at the police academy, we ran a lot. We exercised every day. For the most part, everyone was healthy. Mm-hmm. When you look at the history of COVID, it's usually people who have some underlying condition where it leads to death, right? Or a severe case of COVID. At least from my experience of things I've read. So if you think about in that case where everyone's healthy, generally healthy, we didn't get it that bad. So, and I feel like exercise helped.
I mean, sure.
Like being healthy, like eating good and running and exercising and all this jazz they made us do. Oh yeah, I think that helped with not getting sick.
For sure. I mean, COVID's also just like any other, not just like any other disease, but it's the same deal. If you don't want to get the flu, you don't go into contact with somebody who's got the swine flu.
Exactly. Well, you remember the swine flu?
Yeah.
Back in 2014? I think that was. Like that took like the world by surprise, and like everyone's gonna die, and it's like the new plague. It was insane, bro. I got you.
Okay, so
right.
Is there a certain way I'm supposed to light this?
I don't know. As we say it, there's a saying called "just send it." We're just gonna send it right now. Boom. Put that baby up. So with cigars, if you're not gonna smoke it for a little bit, you want to keep the ash on. The ash will preserve the cigar to stay lit. If you
All
keep
right.
knocking the ash off, then it's gonna stay lit. It's mostly likely gonna die. More oxygen's hitting it.
Sure.
So keep the ash on.
All right.
And let it go. But yeah, man. I mean, it could also be the cigar. Sometimes cigars.
It's a great cigar, by the way, too.
I haven't tried it.
You haven't tried it. It's great.
It's
It's
good. You like
great.
it?
Yeah.
It depends on the cigar as far as how they're rolled. So if a cigar is rolled too tight, then it's gonna be a hard draw, which could also mean it dies easier. So you gotta find a happy medium, because if it's not rolled good, you'll know it's squishy. Like it's not a good cigar. You'll get a lot of air in it. So you gotta find a happy medium, but you also don't want it too tight to where you can't suck any air in it. So that could be another reason. I mean, I'm not sure how it's rolled, and how it is. Yaki, hey, look at that. It's still good, man.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's a good cigar, bro. They're a damn good company.
Now, what are the flavors, I guess? Tell me more. I want to know. I've listened to your podcast, but I got introduced like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, man.
Or like,
yeah, man.
you know, I reached out. She's like, what the hell? You have a podcast and I didn't know about this?
Yeah, so we've known each other since high school.
Yeah.
We met in high school. In fact, I want to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
Just a quick intermission, quick tangent. All right. So the first time I met the Adrian Berumen, all right, it was the talent show at our high school.
Yep.
Okay. And I was the MC of the talent show with my best friend, Nick Guerrero, and who I got to have on the podcast. I haven't had him on.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have him on.
Oh, man.
See what he can.
Oh, I know, man. I had his brother. It was great. In the last episode. Anyways. So I had...
They're the twins, right?
Yeah, the twins, bro. The twins. So it was me and Nick. We're hosting this talent show. And I think you were a freshman at the time.
I had to have been a freshman.
I think you were a freshman.
Or maybe a...
I don't remember. But I remember it was the dress rehearsal of the talent show, right? The rehearsal. And you walk by and you got this acoustic guitar. And I look at Nick Guerrero and I'm like, boy, who is this guy? Who is this dude? You're like, hi, I'm Adrian. I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? Like, I'm Rick. And it's like, oh, I'm Nick. All right, cool. And you walk and you go to the glass lobby. And I look at Nick. I'm like, who is this guy? Who's this chump? Who does he think he is carrying around an acoustic guitar thinking he's better than us? And then I don't know what happened. I went to go get water. I went at the water fountain. And then I heard this godlike voice. This beautiful man singing some George Strait.
Too much credit, but
and
yeah.
No, man. No, I was like, God, is this you? Like, I was like, who is singing? Who has this voice of Jesus? And I peeked around the window in the corner, and I'm like, bro, that's Adrian. And I busted. I'm like, bro, I didn't know you could sing like that. And you're like, oh, bro, thanks. And I'm like, no, bro, you sound good, bro. I remember, I think Nick was with me. I'm like, no, you sound good, man. Like, dude,
yeah,
good.
it was some good feedback that I needed at the time.
Bro.
I was probably, that year that was my first year. I probably confidently said I played guitar.
You did good, man.
And then that was the first year at that point even now I still like, I can sing, but
yeah.
I know the caliber of some people that are
There's some really
really
good people.
good.
And yeah, there's some good people. Damn, you're good, man. Your country voice. You sang some George Strait. I think you sang The Chair.
Yeah.
Oh my, dude. Bro.
Funny thing too, that year I was supposed to do like a duet with Gabe.
Oh wow.
And the motherfucker failed the class.
And so he was like, you're out.
So Dr. Garwick pulls him aside and is like, you can't perform.
Right.
And then she's like, but if you still want to, you can. And I'm like, sorry.
No, dude, but you sing so good, man. I remember I was like in awe. I was like, who is this dude?
Well, shoot, if I had a guitar, I'd show you now.
Dude,
but
man.
yeah,
all right. Give me your name in a country voice, like this.
Man, I tell you what though,
this is Adrian Berumen.
My voice has changed so much these past 4 years.
Man. So do you still?
I mean, I could.
Do you still practice country?
Oh yeah. Like my name is Adrian Berumen.
Oh my!
I mean, you can.
Oh my! Look at that man of a voice.
My name is Adrian Berumen. I don't know.
Man.
I haven't.
You do sound good, man. But you sing the cherry, dude. It sounded so good.
I tell you what. I started playing guitar. I transitioned to mariachi.
Yeah. So I was gonna mention. I was gonna talk that right now.
And mariachi, man, it is a whole new realm in the country. And I'd singing mariachi for so long. I try to sing country sometimes, and it's just not the same. It's not the same.
I was gonna get to that. So you did country. You're great at it. Some damn good country. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, Adrian has a mariachi group. I'm like, what? This dude is a where did this come from? So what's up with that? You're also part of a mariachi group?
I own a group. Yeah, I own a group in Austin.
What? Let's talk about that, bro.
Okay.
How did you get into that?
So probably it was that year. Maybe a couple years actually after the country stunt.
Okay.
And I was just kind of thinking, like, what else can I do? It was my freshman year. It was my sophomore year. I did the talent show 3 times. First year I did the chair. Second year I did the Cowboy Rides Away. Still country.
Damn good
and
song.
then the third year, my senior year and final year, I was like, you know what? I need a change. And I had played like the Hano music because my grandpa, he had taught me everything on guitar originally in Spanish.
Right.
Everything I knew was like the Hano music, and then I, on my own, kind of taught myself country. And lo and behold, I'm like, well, what does it take to make a mariachi group? It takes a guitar, which I have. It takes a trumpet player, so I grabbed Nick Richarte from the band, and I grabbed Grant Hernandez, and rest in peace to Grant, from the orchestra, and I grabbed Dominic, let's see, I think it's his last name, from the orchestra on the bass, and boom, I had a group.
And now, boom, you got a mariachi group.
Yep. And it was just a stunt. It really just was all it was. I mean, I loved mariachi music. I never envisioned that I would take it as seriously I'm taking it today. But it was a great experience. We loved it. And after that, we won the talent show that year. And
see, I was gone by that point.
Yeah, you were gone.
I didn't see that.
We won the talent show with that group, and we looked around and we're like, "Hey, you want to keep doing this?
Yeah.
Like, we're down if you're down." And
yeah. So and y'all got the whole, like, you went all out. Like, you guys got the matching suits and...
No, actually...
Oh, okay.
Well, guess no. We all just bought the same black plants. And luckily my one of my great aunts loves to seam and stuff. And I was like, look, I've got this pattern. All I needed is on the lining of every pant. I'll pay for it. I'll pay you whatever you need.
Just the pants?
Yeah, just the pants.
What, white shirt or something?
White shirt, or black shirt, actually. Just regular belt. Nice. And then this is where I discovered what a moño was. And the moño is the big ties that the mariachis wear. And we all grabbed a moño. We all bought a moño, and they're like $20 each. Yeah. And boom, we look legit.
You're legit. Yeah, and now you're a mariachi group.
Yep, and I think probably a few months later, then we bought the actual suits. And we were so infantile. When I look back in high school of how, like, my capacity of mariachi music versus now, it's like extreme. Yeah. But it's
so where'd y'all go with it? Did y'all like actually like get hired to do things? Like, y'all were a legit mariachi group?
So we didn't really have enough songs for an hour. Grant had this God, what was it? It was like a Mother's Day like hat party, something like that. And we went, and it was cool, but we realized like 30 minutes in that we couldn't play the full hour because we didn't have enough songs. So we had to repeat some songs. Did all right. They were all like old ladies, so they were loving us just because like we were young kids in a mariachi together. We picked it up and started building repertoire, and at that point I reached out to a couple of restaurants. I was like, hey, we're a high school group. We're nothing great, but I guarantee you people will love us. Because we're so young, and we basically went in there with a sheet printed out with the songs we could play, and people would tip us based on what we played. And one gig led to another led to another, and then eventually I transferred. After I graduated, I decided to go to UT, joined the mariachi ensemble there.
Oh, nice!
Part of the UT ensemble, which was really great. I got a lot of experience there. I still am with them too, but then I was missing the gigging feel.
Yeah.
And so
had a little extra cash.
Exactly. And made mariachi Cielo Azul. Cielo Azul de Austin, Texas. So it's
look at you, man.
Yeah, and now we are the biggest student-led group in Austin, and we're kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal.
I didn't know I had a freaking artist here, bro.
It's fun. It definitely has its perks.
So not only do I have Adrian Berumen from the podcast Detached from the Surface, I have Adrian Berumen from the mariachi group Cielo Azul de Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Oh man, dude, bro. So you're legit, like all out, bro.
Well, I try to stay humble as much as I can.
Yeah.
Like there's some, like if you put my mariachi next to some others, like we're still working on some things, and there's some stylistic things we want to improve on, but knowing what I've accomplished from what I have now and what I the resources I was given, I'm pretty content. You know?
So I'm from Mexico, right? My family's from Mexico, all that. And all my cousins have a picture. All my older cousins have a picture of them in a mariachi suit. They were like 10 years old. I think it was like tradition when you turn 10, you got to take a picture in this mariachi suit.
Mm-hmm.
And here my time came. Finally, I was like, oh, bro, I get to take the picture. Dude, it never happened. I think the suit like got
it's
got,
cool.
Ripped up in the process. Yeah, el traje. I got
yeah.
so I never got to experience that. And so one of my all-time dreams is to put on a mariachi suit, bro.
I can make that happen,
bro. Let's do it, bro. I would love that. So yeah, that has been a dream of mine since I was 10 years old because I didn't get to experience that. I'm still salty about that. All my cousins have these pictures in mariachi suit, and
we actually just ordered new suits.
Really? What color?
Yeah, they're blue.
Oh man,
they're like authentic,
legit.
De Jalisco.
Yeah.
Todo, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, each suit was probably like $650 a piece.
They're expensive.
And I've got a group of 11. And we just had a gig for it. That's all we did. Just raise money, gig, and the gigs paid for the suits eventually. And we put a little bit of our own money in there, but we at least subsidized it, made it cheaper, more affordable, and that was nice.
What's your favorite song to play?
Favorite song? Well, it depends on the context. So, like, personally, if we're gonna play something upbeat, Son del Relámpago.
Oh,
that one's there's no singing in that one. It's just all music. Instruments, and it sounds like puro mexicano.
Yeah. And do you sing? Or do you the singer?
I sing, yeah.
You sing a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you play El Mariachi Loco?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my.
Yeah, that one's in the back.
I am
that
hiring
one.
you for my wedding, bro.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Whenever my wedding happens, it could be 5 years from now. I don't know.
Well, I'll be there.
Thanks, man.
Well, we'll get you a big
dude,
group
you
too.
will be there. I guarantee
you'll get the biggest hookup too.
Either you will be there as a mariachi and a guest, or just a guest, but you will be there regardless.
Thanks,
dude. Yeah, dude, that's awesome, mariachi. So when you were like, well, how did you approach the idea to your parents? You're like, hey, I'm gonna be a mariachi.
To be honest, I didn't approach them.
You're like,
I mean, I think my mom was really supportive growing up. So I mean, like whatever I did, she was gonna support. And whenever that happened, and she found that I liked music, I didn't decide. I mean, I like music enough to be a music major if I wanted to. I love music.
Oh yeah.
But practically, music majors don't necessarily make a living.
Right.
It's just hard.
It's hard.
It's definitely so hard to succeed. And it's not that I didn't want to
major.
put the effort in. It's just that, you could even do the most you can and sometimes not succeed just because it's not.
Exactly, right. Bro. Exactly. Dude, Matt Shavers, I had him on an episode a few episodes back. He said a saying where, like, dude, the best rapper is working at a Valero right now.
Out of Valero?
It's just a saying, bro. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
The best living rapper,
for sure.
The best mariachi is working at a T-Mobile right now.
I like to say it's a bit of a it's not a controversial thing, but I think my mariachi is the best in Austin. Yeah. I confidently say that.
I can say that.
I'll tell anybody that, and if it comes down to performance. Yeah. And it comes down to showmanship and what it's about. I think we're the best.
It's not just about music, man. The mariachi group, they gotta work together. They gotta look like a unit. You know what I'm saying? A unit. You gotta be together, uniformed, presence, the communication between the people, all that jazz. It's gotta be the same, and you can tell when like. So I used to work in weddings before I became a police officer. I was an MC guy. Like I used to host weddings.
Yeah. I mean, you were good at it in high school.
Thanks, bro. Oh man, thanks, man. But you could tell when the mariachi groups, either they hired someone or asked someone to join in because they needed to fill a spot. And you could tell where like they weren't on sync.
Right.
Or like they weren't, like maybe they didn't dress the same, something. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you're good. But,
right.
So it's a big thing. It's a big deal. Dude, that's awesome. You guys have an Instagram? Mariachi?
No, we don't. Bro. We have a Facebook. Now, the reason we don't have an Instagram is because it's in Austin. There aren't a lot of mariachis, but there are enough to where I don't want to make a mockery of the group at the same time.
Sure.
So I'm definitely advertising it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm advertising word of mouth. We've got a website called Gig Salad that we post our stuff on, and that's how people can book us as well. But I'm waiting for the right time to where the group has professional photos. We've got We've got professional recordings, and we have something we can really piece together before I take it to social media all at once. Because I want whatever I put forth, and when I tell people that we have the best mariachi, I need to make sure I can back it up.
So that's the thing, and that's something I argue even just with this podcast, and you can probably relate to it with yours. If I'm putting my name on something, it better be the best. Right? Because the product I produce, the content I want to produce, it's got to be the best. So like people, I was having issues with the podcast, and we talked about it before this, but I have issues with the mics and stuff because I've invested more money into the podcast. And one guy told me, was like, well, maybe you're just picky. And I'm like, well, maybe. I was like, but it's also my name on this thing.
Right.
It's my product.
It's a reflection of how much work you put into it.
So like if you want to look, if your product is crappy, it's going to show that you don't care. Right?
I mean, a perfect example is like the last podcast I recorded, I told you, was in an open room.
Yeah.
A lot of vibrations off the wall. Audio sounded subpar. If you wanted to fix it, you could, which I did. It took 6 hours.
Yeah.
And
even then it was like
you can. I know what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong.
Dude, the last episode, and whoever listens to Cigar Night, like the last episode 15, it was great content. Like I had Seth Guerrero, we talked about some really good stuff, but the mics didn't sound right because I got new mics and whatever. It didn't sound right. It sounded off, and I know what I want to sound like.
But I think at this point in your podcast too, as long as you've got a base, you got a base following, and you've got some people that are willing to support you regardless of if there's like a off episode. Like me, I consider episode 1 my off episode.
Oh, dude, my first episode was rough.
Like I go look back at that, I'm like, Jesus Christ! The things I could have done better with knowing what I know now, which is like only 3 weeks worth of into the podcast. Yeah. It is pretty good. It's a good amount that where we know how we could shape it, we could make it a lot more polished. But you are where you are now, and it's not going to change.
I am. This is going to be the 16th episode, and the podcast has been around over a year now. We started August of 2019. I took about a 5-month break, 6-month break with academy and stuff and work. So when I came back, I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I lost everything, like all my editing skills. I was like, I don't remember how to do it. It took a learning curve again to redo it right. But for the most part, the podcast has been around over a year. I know kind of what I want. I've learned new things. I'm definitely not where I want to be. And I think that sets a goal, right? Like I know what I want to be, where I want to go, right? Everyone wants to be Joe Rogan, right? Everyone wants to have like this space that's just for you, and that would be awesome. But look, man, we're sitting on a balcony,
San Antonio,
Texas. We're trying to smoke cigars. We're smoking some cigars. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some background noise, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta work with what you got.
I mean, it's also like how it really shows. Like if you're on episode 16, right? So this is a good statement to everybody that it's not just some half-ass work you're putting together put out, because if that was the case, then you could probably have like 100 episodes at this point.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. And you're also passionate about what you do, and you brought it back. You had that month waiting period that where you're figuring some other stuff out, but after you brought it back together, here you are putting. I think I was telling. I'm sure I'll have to get you in contact with Brenda, because I'm sure y'all will work together with y'all's podcast too. Is putting your opinions and putting your voice out there for the public to hear is probably one of the hardest things to do. Yeah. Because all it does, it just takes one thing to say that somebody doesn't agree with for things to get ugly.
Right, and so that's the thing is I try to stay. Like politics. Politics is a really iffy subject.
Right, yeah.
Like, even me being a police officer. Like, it is... Some people hate me.
Now, you didn't like... Were you deterred in any way for being a police officer?
No, bro. So I've wanted to be a police officer for a long time. Maybe like with you and being, congressman. Mm-hmm. Dude, like, I remember being in middle school, and I'm like, bro, I want to be a police officer.
Jeez.
And I made it happen, bro. But no... Times have sucked, don't get me wrong, but I will be completely honest in that the city of San Antonio, the people here are great.
Yeah, they are. That's for sure.
It's some great people.
You got a small town feel with the big city, and you can't get that anywhere else.
Man. And I will say that, there's always going to be people who dislike the police anywhere you go. Anywhere. I mean, that's just the thing.
I mean, if I see the lights and siren behind me
Yeah.
and 35, I'm like,
fuck. Oh, even me, bro. Dude, I get nervous seeing a cop car behind me. I'm like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? No, like like people dislike police officers. Anyway, like that's. I mean, there's always gonna be that group of people who do.
right.
But I think for a majority of people in the city of San Antonio, and I mean Texas, I would say, I mean, they back the police, and so even though it's been rough throughout the country, I'm very fortunate to be working for a great city, and
It could be a lot worse.
it could be worse. I mean, San Antonio is a great city. The people here are amazing, and for the most part, they support their police. And it's a great because even though I feel it, you know, you feel people staring at you, but I also feel the comfort of people. Like there has been many instances where I'm going to get food and someone's like, "Hey, I'll pay for it." Hey, I already paid. Or like I go up to the front to pay and they're like, "Oh, that person already paid for you." I'm at a drive-thru, like
Wow.
getting Starbucks, and they're like, "Oh, the person in front of you already paid." I'm like, "Bro, like you don't have to do that." But it makes art, like it makes me feel like, damn,
Appreciate
dude,
it.
like,
Yeah, I
there's
mean
people here who
that
still
is. I think in some cities that are a little bit more harsh on their police
Yeah.
and a little more critical
Yeah.
right now, you won't find that at all.
No, and it's great.
And, and the thing is too, I think, I mean, even let's say the city could be going a little harsh, but you'll still have those people that will.
who support you. I mean,
Right.
there's the silent majority, right?
Right.
And then again, I don't want to get into politics and stuff because of that. Like, you know, I get it. Like, there is people like who have their opinions, and I respect that. Like, I will listen to your opinions all day, but I have my opinions. Like,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
as far as like, did I ever get like, not like I would say
You never had a doubt.
no. Like, I would say that everything that's going on motivated me more because I wanted to be that change.
Right.
I was like, bro, I want to be that change. That I want to show that, hey, there are cool officers out here. Like, hey, there is good people here who are trying to help and are here to try to make a difference. And that's me, man. Like, I'm just here to make a difference, bro.
Yes, sir.
I ran into a person from high school. I was at work. It was at his place. Like, we got called to his place. And I recognized the name. I was like, I know that guy. And then I saw him. I was like, yep, that's him. And he's like, bro, what you doing? I'm like, oh, bro, I'm just trying to make a difference, bro. And he's like, bro, I feel that, bro. I feel that. And I mean, he was a different race, right? Like, he was an African American.
Yep.
And he was like, bro, I respect that, bro. I'm like, hey, you know me, bro. I'm just trying to make a difference. So it all depends on how you talk to people. You'd be surprised the way you talk to people. If you treat people like adults and you talk to them like an adult, you'll go a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just here to try to make a difference, bro.
I think there's great respect in what police people, policemen do. Anybody who's in law enforcement, firefighter,
Oh yeah,
any
first
EMT,
responders
yeah,
things.
exactly, yeah.
It's a hard job, man. It's stressful, and there's a lot of rewards to it, but it is stressful. And I will say that right now, at this time period, I don't know if law enforcement will be what I do for the rest of my life. I can't say that. Like, I don't know.
I don't think anybody would.
Like, I
press
can't
you to
say that.
that
Oh
too.
yeah, I'm gonna do this for the next 30 years of my life. I don't know. I did it. I wanted to do it. I did it. I achieved that goal. And if I stay with it, great. If there's something else that comes up and I'm like, oh, I want to do that now, I'll probably do it. That's the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, if I see something that I want to do and I like it, I'm probably gonna go for it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now in life, bro.
Nice.
But, yeah, man.
Nice. Yeah, I was missing that whole background because I mean, like I said, I see all like the pictures. I'm like, man, he's getting the uniform. I was like, he was just in the academy. He's like, is he done? It's like,
done, bro. I'm done, bro. Yeah, it went crazy. And what's crazy for me is that, like, I was a theater major. Like,
yeah,
I
I remember that too.
theater.
Yeah.
Like, I studied theater.
You do anything with that?
Not right
still,
now.
Or no?
Not right now. Well, and I think COVID made it harder.
For
too.
sure.
So
Yeah.
I actually thought about it. I was like, I want to go back. Like, I miss it. I miss the theater scene. And I want to go back to it. And what I like about this podcast is that it kind of gives me a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
It still gives me that some sort of entertainment feeling.
Yeah, a little satisfaction.
So-
Your self endeavors, right?
Yeah, man, exactly. So we'll see what the future holds, man. I can't say what the future holds, but all I know is it's the future's gonna be bright, bro.
Yes, sir.
You know what I
That's
mean?
the right attitude. I need more people like that.
Thanks, bro.
And that's it. I come across too many people that have like a negative attitude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. So because I don't know what's gonna happen, I'm just not gonna worry about it. You know. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that one.
Bro, this thing is hot. This
Looks
lighter
hot.
is hot, bro. Burns your face. So detached from the surface, man. What's the goal with detached from the surface? What do you see yourself?
Well, So this is where I'm at a conflict. So this next episode is going to be just me going on a tangent of my political views, of course, and let people take it as they want. I've gotten a lot of hate. I've gotten a lot of good criticism. I've gotten both sides because politics is just where it is right now, right?
Dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's such an iffy topic, and I give you so much props to like start something.
Thanks, yeah.
Right now,
it's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I've never been one to be fazed by criticism or haters. I've had a lot of people who have outright just said what you said is wrong and you're a bad person, but they never will offer well, let's talk about it.
Right.
You know, they're just very quick to just say, well, how could you say something like that or whatnot? And the goal of the podcast is to get rid of that. The goal is to find some sort of middle ground for everybody to just kind of sit back, relax, and talk about the differences that we have in our opinions, where we could agree on something.
Yeah.
And if there's a point, which I haven't gotten to this point yet, because I really haven't had anybody that's extreme opposite of what I believe in. If there's no way we could just find common ground, then where would we go from there? You know, I think just people want something, a glimpse of hope, really, that we could still work together. For now, it's just very much seeming like we can't. So I think I created Detached from the Surface just to kind of give that option for people who want to say something that don't. Which is why I think I'm going to go to YouTube soon, is because, I mean, audio is great. I love seeing the podcast grow, being on like Spotify and Apple, and you can see like how many views you get.
Yeah,
and all
it's
that good
great.
Stuff. That's cool.
So cool.
It's good. Like the statistics are there, and just probably the most discouraging thing is people likely aren't going to listen to next episode if they weren't into the one before because they weren't able to say something, like give a comment that they want. Maybe they weren't into it because they weren't able to see just how passionate our body language behind it. So I think, like, for instance, like Joe Rogan, right? He's like the god of all gods when it comes to podcasts. Yeah, right. I mean, like I said, if I had that kind of money, we'd be sitting pretty, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's just not how it is right now. But I think, as far as something like political, where I really do want to have those tough conversations, and I really do want. I don't want to have a comment section full of hates, and I don't want to have a comment section full of.
But you want people to express themselves.
Yeah, well, express yourself like you want. Yeah, but do it respectfully and do it in mind with knowing that the other person you're talking to is also a human being, and they're also somebody who likely has no intention of hurting you, or have no intention of hurting somebody else that they're talking about. Yeah. And maybe there's just miscommunication. Maybe that's all it
is.
Let's
talk about it.
Yeah,
let's have a cigar over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I meant. I was when I heard yours, I was like, the laid back feel. Yeah. You're having a cigar with a friend or two, right? Yeah. You've got a Modelo. You know, like bro. How you gonna complain, right? Like how you and then. Relax, bro. I think what's gonna get interesting on Detached is whenever I do have that one person who is completely radical or completely against everything I say, and I mean it's not like I'm not scared of it, but I do want to walk away from a conversation saying that was a good conversation, productive, and not have any resentment or something you held back. And
does your podcast have an Instagram, social media?
No. It goes back to the whole thing where I was talking about before I make a social media page and before
want it to be perfect.
It needs to be good. It needs to be good. Yeah, because right now, I mean, these first 3 episodes have been really good. I've got a good. I can see what the base is evolving into, and there's a huge jump from like episode 1 to episode 2.
Oh yeah.
Huge jump from episode 2 to episode 3. It just like, as soon as you say you're making a podcast, everybody will listen to it. They're interested. This is something new. Yeah. But as you start getting down the line, like it gets smaller. You know what I mean? Like you start losing people.
The same thing.
And there's got to be a method to like a roller coaster method. Right now, it went uphill. Yeah. Declining, not declining to where I give up, you know.
Yeah. Because you notice it.
Yeah. You notice it, and you try to think about ways you could get it out more, and I think YouTube is probably the best way.
I think the reason I brought up social media was just because the comments. You know, you could post pictures. You can have people comment on it. You can do stories and say, hey, what do you think on this? Or like, let's do a poll.
Now it's coming for sure soon. I'm thinking probably in the next 2 weeks is whenever we're gonna have our first YouTube video.
Yeah.
Maybe push 3.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But once the YouTube comes out, and then I can get, like, but the last person I interviewed was a professor at the University of Texas, also director of the UT Mariachi Ensemble.
Yeah.
And that was really, really, really just an educated conversation, and from somebody at the university level, you know?
Right, a professor.
But at episode 3, the numbers were nothing compared to what I had with episode 1.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I need to get attention on important issues like that and important topics that are really specific to that episode, because she offers some tremendous experiences that
I was
that
like
my first or second guest can't do that.
Right.
You know,
Well, it's a different person.
Right.
It's a different education, different point
Exactly.
of view.
Yeah.
One thing, you might have better luck than I did. So when I first started the podcast and I was in your boat, I was like, man, like my views are going down. You know, I'm not getting the same I did with the first few episodes when the hype was still up. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to promote my page on Instagram. You know how you have like those sponsored ads and all that? I tried doing that.
How'd it go?
So Instagram has a thing about you can't sponsor or promote tobacco products.
Oh man.
So I did like multiple things, and I would try to like advertise pictures. I'm like, that has nothing to do with cigars. Like, it was me on a mountain having some motivational like quote.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with, like, I didn't even mention cigars in the caption.
They shut you. They censored you? Or?
Yeah. No. So
not censored, but they
declined. The ad
right.
Because I was willing to pay. Like, you pay for it, and I was like, legit. I'm like, I'm doing this. But they say, well, you can't like promote tobacco products or alcohol. So I would like, you could fight it, and I did. I was like, well, first of all, I'm not selling tobacco. Like, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a podcast.
Right.
But I think just because the name on my Instagram is Cigar Night, I think that by itself is like,
right. I mean,
so
you also like, do you have explicit on your podcast? Do you tag it as explicit?
Not on Instagram.
Not, but I mean, like on Spotify.
Well, yeah, but like I'm not.
See, I mean, even at that, like, if
there's
Joe,
worse.
There's worse things out there, right?
Yeah.
Like this is nowhere near as explicit than something like Joe Rogan might put out.
So that's
you know?
kind of where I was. So I gave up on that. I was like, well, that's not going anywhere. And I tried like 3 or 4 times, different pictures, different captions. I'm like,
so and that's another thing too. I don't know what the power of Instagram advertising is.
I would say, so the way it worked, at least for me, you pay for like how long you want it to be up, and people will see it. You can also choose like the age group you want to hit. You can determine like the range, like the whole US, the whole world. You have to put like specific like countries.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more you put, like, the more money it is, right? Like, where do you want it to hit? How long you want it to, and I was gonna put like, let's just do a week. Like, let's just do a week of just having the ads run.
Mm-hmm.
Of my page being sponsored. And it wasn't that expensive. It wasn't that bad. I don't remember how it was, but it didn't work.
I mean, there's that. I mean, inevitably, we'll have to put more money into it if you want it to get bigger.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it's an investment, you know?
I'm with it. But yes, Instagram said no, you cannot. So if anybody who works on Instagram listens to this, please help me out. Help me help you.
Help my man, Ricardo, please.
Yes, please help me. So anyways, so that might be some things to consider. And it's great talking to someone else who has a podcast, because you can kind of relate. I definitely relate to like exactly everything you've said.
Yep.
It's been a roller coaster. It's been fun. And at the end of the day, it's not about, yes, it's about your content. It's about who listens and what they get out of the episodes. But at the end of the day, for me, it's like, as long as I'm happy doing it.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
If I'm cool with it and I'm happy doing this, hey, who can take that away from you?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that was the same thing. I was like, unless it's a complete failure, like, you know, unless I'm like zero, like what I'm doing here doesn't get to one person, right? Then that's where I'm like, okay, well, do I need to hold my breath and try something else? But no, I think I think too. Also, me and you were in a social circle, and the area we grew up, that everybody's pretty down to earth. We've got some pretty good friends that, like I said, even if it's a bad like take or like episode 1 for me or whatever you think it was bad take for you, they'll still listen.
Yeah, dude, and you'll be surprised. I don't know if it's happened to you yet. It took me a few episodes in, but pretty recent, not recently, pretty quick when I started the podcast, there was people who reached out to me from offering me jobs.
Oh
yeah. People like Yaki Cigars who offered me hey, we love your podcast. Would you be interested in working, collaborating? I said, hell yeah. There's been about 3 instances already.
Nice.
Where I'm trying to think. There's been 2 of them were job related.
Do you ever reach out to them too, or
what do you mean?
Do you ever reach out to these cigar businesses?
No.
I mean, I think because I was contemplating that. I was like realistically, who would I need to reach out to make it bigger? You've got a very cigars companies if they're willing to sponsor you,
that would be the dream, man.
Exactly,
to be hey, we will give you this unlimited supply of cigars, but all you have to do is smoke our cigars. I would be bet.
Yep.
I will shout you out every episode.
Unless it's a terrible cigar, right?
I don't know even, man. I don't know. Just to have my name out there on them, that would be awesome. There is a possibility with that. And I have met some people with some really good. It's funny how we base people off Instagram followers, but there's a few people who want to get on the podcast who have tens of thousands Instagram followers. I know 2, 3. There's 3 people. One of them for sure can happen. But the issue is the reason I haven't brought them on there yet, and they're just waiting for the call.
Right.
And I would love to have them on. But the issue is when you bring people at a higher level who can actually put you in the spotlight.
Right.
It's I gotta be ready.
Me too. Yeah.
This isn't gonna work.
Right.
And they might be understanding. And
no,
stuff.
I think too. I mean, working with podcasts is another really, really good way to start building a base.
Right.
Because I was talking with Brenda too. Me and her, like I said, talk with her too to see what she's doing.
Dude, we actually were gonna try to do an episode. This was back in January.
Oh, really?
I got in touch with her. I was like, yo, let's do an episode. If you want to smoke a cigar, cool. We don't have to, right? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. Something happened that week after where I think she couldn't do it or I couldn't do it. And 2 weeks later, I started the academy.
Damn.
And once the academy started, I knew that it was I knew everything was going to be on pause. And I think I told her, I was I only have 2 weeks before I'm going to be really busy. And we couldn't make it happen. But now that I have time, I think we can make it happen.
Yeah, no, it's cool because, I mean, all these podcasts, they've got, there's different meaning behind them all, and hers is way more soul searching than mine, and yours is way more casual, more relaxed feeling. Yours is definitely a more comfortable feeling than what I have, because man, it can get hostile when I'm talking about politics, but it's about promoting each other's circles and promoting because at the end of the day, like I said, there's what you're trying to offer, what I'm trying to offer, what she's trying to offer, what Joe Rogan's trying to, anybody who has a podcast, what they're trying to offer is pretty much this. The content's going to be different, the feel is going to be different, but the end goal is we're all doing this for our own satisfaction. Exactly, and we're all doing this because we're passionate and we believe in something, whether it be having a good time or hanging out or trying to do something out like that. It's really good, and I think there's a good community around it, and I'm glad for that. At least. You know?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel it, and I think that's one thing that, we came from the same. I would say not social circle, but we know a lot of mutual friends, and I know those friends. We're all we're all into everyone's success, bro.
Yep.
We're all about that, and so we motivate each other. That's the big thing. Adrian Cigar is going out again.
Hey. I told you, Brandon. That's a little.
It's okay. New. It's all good, bro. It's all good. It could be the cigar, bro. It's the cigar. I'm just looking at that torch, man. How good that.
This torch is crazy. I'm gonna have to get one.
Dude, it's well worth it. I had to save up for it. Yeah, bro.
Where'd you get into cigars?
How did I get into it?
Yeah, how? And well, I guess I'm sure like there'll be a time where we can talk about. I mean, you probably already discussed this in past episodes. But
Oh
like,
no,
what?
man, we'll talk about this.
How you what did you think of the theme, like Cigar Night?
Yeah. So I don't know if I have talked. I'm sure I mentioned it.
You got a cover too. That's pretty badass. Like the cigar and like the way
bro,
it's formatted.
really? I'm trying to change
it's really
that too,
good.
bro.
Really, I
I'm
like
trying
it.
to
I was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Oh man, I'm actually working on trying to change it, bro. Okay, so Cigar Night. So I have a close group of friends. There's about 4 or 5 of us, and we have like alternates who come in every now and then, like close friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the main Cigar Night group, right? There's this group of friends that I've known since high school, and we were just the Cigar Night group, man. Like that's the Cigar Night squad, and we got together. We would once a month get together, smoke cigars, talk about life, and Cooper Hurt and Desiree Carmona have a company called Stay Phenomenal, right? And they at one point started their podcast, Stay Phenomenal podcast.
See, I don't know their podcast either.
Well, so it's theirs is on hold.
Oh, okay.
It's a great podcast. They have like 3 episodes, but it's been on hold for a little bit because Stay Phenomenal is a design company,
Mm-hmm.
right? They handle with like T-shirts and like the decals. They're a design company. But they're trying to just like do more things, right? So when they started the podcast, I was like, man, if they're doing it, I can do it, right? Like Coop is doing his own thing. Cooper Hurt, like that man is doing, like he started this company, Stay Phenomenal. I'm like, bro, he's doing it. Like I want to do something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what can I do? And I've always had this idea of like doing a podcast, but I'm like, what can I do? What would I talk about? I was like, you know what, man, Cigar Night, bro. Like so I named it Cigar Night, just like our group. And yeah, man, so that's how it started. That's how the podcast started, with this idea of having people come on the episodes on a podcast and talk about just like what they've done, what their experiences are. Entrepreneurs like yourself, like Cooper Hurd with Stay Phenomenal, other friends and I have a lot more people lined up that I want to get on here. The cigars itself, though, I would say my dad. He would smoke cigars.
Classy man,
Very classy man. He would smoke cigars, and so growing up, I would always watch him. And then, as I got older, I was just more interested in them. And yeah, so I would say it started with my dad. And then just the more I smoked, the more, the podcast I got into it. The more I read up, the more I tried to learn. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, man.
I'm seeing like, do you know Reagan Smith?
Yes.
He was into MacArthur too.
Yeah.
He's developing his own podcast. It's called Liquored Language.
Hey, oh man.
Liquored Language.
Is it about liquor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine this. Imagine a podcast where every 15 minutes there's a proctor. Reagan's the proctor, right? And you got to take a shot.
Okay.
So from the beginning of the podcast, you start sober. By the end of the podcast, presumably in 15 minutes, every 15 minutes you're taking a shot, and you also have a drink in front of you, which you should finish 2 to 3 drinks within the hour. At least that's in his standard.
Jeez.
By the end, you should maybe slur your words. Maybe by the end, you should know that the person's gone. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like some things are so I mean, it's interesting. I'm waiting for it to come out,
I think
but
it's a great idea.
I'm waiting for it to come out and hear it.
Liquor Language. Shout out to Liquor Language.
Liquor Language, yeah, it's in the making. He's actually my roommate, so he's my roommate. Yeah, so is Gabe, and like I said, there's a lot of podcasts going up right now. I think it's because it's COVID.
Yeah.
So but it's really seeing like. Man, there's a lot of creative ideas out there.
Dude, I didn't even think of that. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the Cigar Night with the cigar picture, like you have the
logo,
the album, the logo album, I was like,
so I like to have some cigars and maybe some drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
I try to be somewhat classy. I have so many ideas, bro. But yeah, there's so many great ideas, creative ideas that like Liquor Language, man. Like there's a Comedy Central used to have a show called Drunken History. Where they like talk about history or something. I think it's something like that. And it's like the host like would drink, and by the end of I don't know if they really got drunk.
Yeah, you don't know for sure, right?
But like they assume that they're drinking throughout the episode. So
Right.
by the end, the history facts are completely wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how it is. That's the theme about it. That's creative. Like, I'm with it. I'm like, yeah, I'll be.
Yeah,
on that
man,
show. I'll
I'd
do
take it all in, man.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'm down for that. But yeah, dude, there's so many creative ideas, and I just can't wait to see what comes up.
For
with
sure.
it, man. Yeah.
Are you trying to monetize this podcast at some point?
Maybe. I mean, the goal was never to. I mean, okay, not say never. The goal when I first started wasn't to make money. Like, that wasn't the point, right? It's just to, enjoy it, enjoy what I do. Eventually, maybe. Maybe
Sure.
once I get big, if I get bigger, I will get bigger.
When you get bigger. When you get bigger.
When I
Not
get bigger.
if, when.
When, yeah, I think definitely I would love to make some money off of it or do something with it,
Yeah.
Yeah, the goal isn't to make money right now. That isn't the goal as far as from the podcast.
Right.
Like,
Which I think initially it shouldn't be.
No,
I mean, because
I'm doing it 'cause I like it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I think that says a little bit more. It's like, I like doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, the craziest is how big you can get. Like, Joe Rogan. Have you seen Joe Rogan's like first episode?
Yeah, but Joe Rogan's also like he's
He already
Fear
had money.
Factor
Yeah,
for
Fear-
UFC.
he
Like,
already
my,
had
my
money.
man, like it's like if Obama went and created a
Oh, dude,
like a
it would
podcast,
be
right?
like,
It's
it would be instant.
Joe Rogan would be done. Like Obama has a podcast now. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
like
I guess
there's-
so. But the goal, like, if you look at his first episode, it was rough.
Yeah.
I was like,
it was.
dang.
I
So,
mean, he
like-
said it to himself. He's like, I first, basically, well, same platform like you and I ran on. I was
Yeah.
like, well, first it was just us thing, have a bunch of friends on, get everybody's experiences. It was just like an us thing. But then you start thinking, who else can I have on?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Who else can I
Who
have
else
on?
can I
You know,
have
well, what can I? Who of somewhat importance or like somebody that? I mean, because at the end of the day, some people are a little bit more credible than us, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
just because they've been here around here longer,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, who could I have on that has a little more social clout, a little bit more prominence in society right now that will make my voice brighter,
Right.
and make my podcast and my dreams take off?
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. So I'm gonna start something new.
All
This
right.
is something I've had in the making. And right now, because we have hit our hour mark.
Perfect.
We're like 11 minutes into the hour. And there's something I want to talk when we hit the hour. I missed it by 11 minutes. But when we get into our first hour, we're going to get into the freestyle portion.
All
And
right.
this is about, we can talk about anything. Anything you want to talk about, bro. Anything you want to talk about. Later on, I want to have like a jar just of like, I didn't do it, but I should have. But for future episodes, I'm gonna put like a jar with like different themes, different subjects and stuff. Don't worry about that. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. It's just background noise. It's my camera telling me that it's out of battery. Oh well.
That's all
Anyways,
good.
it's all good. Freestyle. I'm gonna have a jar with subjects and themes and stuff, and we're going to talk. And I'm gonna pull something out, and we're gonna talk about it. All right.
All
But
right.
not right now because I don't
Okay.
have that with me. But
Freestyle.
what do you want to talk about, bro? Freestyle, anything. Nothing doesn't have to be anything related to.
Anything? Like
Anything,
anything? Anything's fair game.
Yeah, anything's fair game, bro. Let's talk about aliens, bro. How do you feel about aliens?
Not
bro?
gonna lie, the past 3 weeks, for some reason, astronomy's been like
Yeah?
a little more fascinating to me than it
Really?
usually is. Yeah, I mean, a couple days ago, me and some friends, I shouldn't be telling this because you're a cop, but
I don't care.
there was some substances involved.
Oh, okay.
We got high, okay, and it was my friend's first time really smoking, so he was like, you know what, I want to try it. Let's do it. And then, one of those things where the boys are doing it. Let's do it, right?
Yeah.
And man, the night sky was like perfect. No clouds, visibility great.
It was a good night, man.
And that particular night, Mars was bright as could be. Like, you look up and you can see the red planet. Like, you see a red dot that's noticeably not a star, and that is Mars.
Yeah.
You just sat there and you're like, gosh dang, like, there's a lot of things going on right now for trying to get a man to Mars. Like, just take that into consideration. Like, I mean, it's one thing to look at the moon and be like, wow, we got to the moon.
Yeah.
But getting to another planet,
Yo, that's legit.
like, interplanetary travel, like, oh, okay, now we're
Now we're
talking.
talking about different. Now we're
Yeah,
really different.
now that's a new level. Like, what's the? And it makes you think, like, down the line, like, what's the real capacity that man has to venture out into space?
Yeah.
I mean, like Elon Musk, right? He's just like, yeah, we'll have a man by 2023. It was supposed to be 2020, but COVID happened, of course. He's like, yeah, things are all over the place right now.
2023, there's gonna be a man on Mars.
So he says that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But you think like, well, shit, like you send a man to Mars, right? It's presumably a one-way ticket, right? How you gonna come back? I mean, maybe
You're
just,
not
right. Maybe they'll send you something to get back. I don't know.
I think it's just. I think those who sign up are like, no, it's going.
You're right. I mean, I couldn't do it because I have too many things I want to do here.
I was gonna say.
I could imagine if I grew up and being an astronomer and being an astronaut was my passion, I would do it.
So there's a girl. I don't have her name. I saw it on social media the other day. There's this 18-year-old girl who has been to every NASA camp, like every NASA camp that exists in the world. She's been to. She's 18 years old, and she's the youngest person who's about to start, like Space Academy or something like that, or like
trying to be an astronaut.
Yeah, well, yeah, but she's on set to go to Mars. Like she's one of the people.
Oh shit!
So like, damn.
Yeah.
Like at 18 years old, you're like, nah, I'm going.
Yeah,
And I don't think I'm coming back. It's like, bro, that's scary. I don't know if I could do that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it too depends on like what kind of family you're raised in. Like, how much family do you have back here?
Bro,
you
that's
know,
the
like,
thing, bro. Like,
I can't leave my family.
Family
never see them again. Like, not even video call. Like, I have video.
Bro,
like,
there ain't even Wi-Fi in Mars, bro.
Right. Like you're gonna have like, basically, you're gonna maybe send video recordings back and forth that will take days to arrive,
if even.
Right.
And it won't even be good quality. It won't even be 1080p, bro. It'll be like what's that? 240?
Maybe.
Bro. Yeah, bro. Dang.
That's
you
rough.
can't even call anybody.
I mean, I can't imagine it.
You can't even be on Instagram on Mars.
Nope.
There was no Wi-Fi.
No, nothing. Yeah.
Nah, I couldn't go, bro.
I couldn't do it. But think of it this way now. Think of it like the year's 2050, right?
Okay.
Now there's a few groups of people on Mars.
Uh-huh.
Now it's like not necessarily a colony, but you've got a small civilization that's doing studying on Mars. Maybe they're able to do agriculture with maybe like a bubble they have or something like that. Now, I mean, yeah, Earth is preferable, right? But at least you're not alone.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a time where a child's born there. Maybe there's a time where
child born on
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I put it this way. I don't I don't foresee if they send a man and a woman to Mars, I don't foresee it will take long to make a child. So I don't think that will take a long time. But you got to think about that. Let's say there is a baby on Mars. Do we have the you got to think of that, like you got to send like resources for babies, like
I'm sure
it's going to be a lot of things to consider, bro.
I mean, luckily
Food.
Well, it'll be in our lifetime. I think we could be in our lifetime.
I think we will see it. But you got to think about oxygen that goes up there. I mean, for life. You know, like how do you plan oxygen, like having enough oxygen for years?
There's a nuke theory that if you, like Mars is in a stage of development that their atmosphere is not suitable for life, right? But Earth was like that one time. And the nuke theory is that if you just nuke the crap out of Mars, you artificially generate the impact of basically like an asteroid or an impact of like just like radiation like up the ash, right?
Right.
And you alter the environment of Mars, and you pump all the chemicals that are involved with a nuclear weapon into Mars sky. In the course over 1,000 years, it would generate life.
Life,
yeah. Not like sentient life, but
Yeah.
you'd have maybe like microorganisms,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
have like something like that.
But what about oxygen and shit?
Yeah,
Potentially.
yeah. Presumably, like you have microbes producing oxygen, like
What
just
the
the way like plants do. But it's like the nuke theory.
It's
Like
a
it's
theory.
totally theory. Like it's like
Never been tested.
Right. Because at one point, like Earth was just a huge ball of flames, right? Or it was just a big rock,
Supposedly.
right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, a meteor hit it, broke off a piece of the Earth. Now we have a moon. But that big impact, big impact altered the way that this planet developed and produced an atmosphere suitable for life.
I talked about this on a few episodes back, and I just something about like space and like all that like microorganisms and bacteria like growing from a nuke, all this stuff. I feel like maybe I'm just dumb, but it's like too big for my mind to imagine. Like
at the same time,
it's like
it's a bunch of theory and bullshit.
That's the thing.
I mean, it's like
it's not. This is not proven at 100% at all.
That's like the Big Bang Theory.
Right. It's a theory.
There's no proof on that. There's no proof on that. I mean, like people, you're arguing the creation of something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. So like, yeah, you're telling me that something exploded, and now we're here.
Right. I mean, like science is the way I perceive like science explains a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But science is also, in theory, a social construct that we use just to help us comprehend what is in our reality. Sure. Right. So imagine a case where, like, let's say we all just admitted that we don't know how things came to be.
Yeah.
Which we should.
It would be chaos.
At that point, everybody's either A, super religious, B, just, okay, fine, we're just going to live with the world as we have, or like you said, chaos, anarchy, right? And luckily, it's not anarchy, but
yeah,
like,
you're right.
There's so much, like in terms of science, this is why I decided not to be a science major, is like, even in biology, like, only like a portion of our brain is tapped into.
Yeah.
Like even we're studying like how cells can regenerate themselves, or like how cells could actually just like how a sperm cell and an egg cell could produce an infant that would then go into a human being. Who could
you're right.
Like that's
it's insane.
Like where did that come from?
Yeah.
It didn't come from anywhere, right? Evolution is.
Definitely.
I think people have proven evolution, right?
But there's only so much that evolution has proved.
Which is why religion's there, right? I mean, like I'm a guy of faith, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I believe.
And I think a reason for it though is like the fact that there's just no answer, right? I'm like, look, if there's nothing, like, I refuse to believe that this life is for nothing.
Yeah,
right.
Man.
I refuse.
I'm the same way, but there has to be something else.
Right.
And I've had arguments like, well, there's not. I'm like, no, like there has to be something.
Like if there's not, I'm sorry, you're a pessimist. Like you're not an optimist.
Yeah, like there has to be
person.
something else. Because like there's a theory, like the universe is infinite, right? And I'm like, well, nah, like it can't be infinite. Like it's like, well, no.
I don't know. Could it be infinite?
Okay, so I said the same thing. And I said this on the podcast not too long ago. Okay, let's say there is an end. Like there's a wall where the universe just stops. Then what's on the other side? Bro, I'm telling you.
It's just infinite, isn't it?
But see, that's too big for our mind to capture.
There's nothing we could do. There's nothing like right now.
Right now, we can't. Yeah, exactly. There's bigger things to be worried about right now.
The question is too is like, will our Earth crumble before we have the capacity to find those answers?
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Who knows?
Yeah.
People are already dying because like some land is not. Yeah, you can't cultivate the land anymore.
Yeah.
It's been too much agriculture on that land.
Yeah, it's. I don't know, man. I mean, going back to Mars, like Mars had water at one point, supposedly.
The moon had water.
What?
There's water on the moon. Do you know that?
No.
There's water on the moon, and actually the moon's rusting.
What?
Yeah, the moon's rusting. They found that out. There was a journal published, I think it was just like a month ago, actually, that they found. They looked, and they're finding that there's some spots on the moon that are red that weren't red before. And the only thing they can attribute it to is
water.
The water's rusting. Yeah, no, the frozen water. There's frozen water on the poles.
Right.
And now that rust is going, I mean, it's possible to say that the moon will be red one day because there's not water all over the moon. It's only on the poles. But they're finding that it's a phenomenon that's happening, and like it's something that's happening quickly within our lifetime. You know, put it in perspective of other planets, like could there be like imagine if it really is billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of stars.
Yeah.
Life's out there.
Yeah.
Right.
It has to be, bro.
It's gotta be.
Dude, it's selfish to think that we're the only ones here.
And then it's like, if it's sentient life, like if there's actually somebody out there that's higher than us, you scared about that? That worry you a little bit?
Nah. I'm excited. I'm like, that's dope.
I mean, it's exciting, but like, fuck, if we had to interact with them, I don't think our reaction is necessarily.
Okay, but who's to say they're gonna be different? Who's to say they can't look like you and me?
That's true too.
Like, who's to say aliens aren't here right now, bro? And they look like us, and we don't even know who's aliens.
I don't even know if they would know. Would they know?
I don't know.
Like,
they came years ago and they just had children. Here.
Right. I mean, like, I
who's
think
to say they have
probably
to look 6
some of.
foot?
I think I forgot who said this. Oh, God, it was somebody notable. They're like, the existence of the pyramids.
Yeah.
The Aztecs and in Egypt, everything like
Bro,
that.
It's creepy.
It's like, where did these? These hieroglyphics are obviously an indication of something higher.
Yeah, and
they believe they put this monument with just pure.
The pyramids, like they all look the same.
And the fact that it's aligned with like certain constellations and like
bro,
planetary movements.
Shit. Yeah, bro.
That's a little.
It's
that's
creepy.
like we can't do that now. Like
oh yeah, dude. There's
shit.
There's things like. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little retarded. No, I'm just quoting Joe Rogan. No, I watch a lot of History Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the best source of information. Right, but ancient.
No,
aliens,
it's really good actually.
But ancient aliens, all right, they have some great points. There was like rocks that have been cut, right? Like, bro, it is so precisely cut. Like, we can't even make those cuts now. Like, with computers and stuff, like, it is hard to make that now. Like,
imagine
how did they
making
do
it
that?
with no tools?
No tools. Like, okay, but here's the other point. It's okay. Let's say there was aliens. Let's say that they came already.
Yep.
They were disappointed. Like, this place sucks. And they're gone. They're like, yeah, we're out.
Okay.
Yeah. You watch Twilight Zone, the black and white Twilight Zone.
I've seen it before.
Okay, so there's an episode where they find like aliens and stuff, but it turns out the aliens are like little, like very very little. So to them, we're giants to them. So they're afraid of us. And it was like this whole. I mean, it's Twilight Zone, right? It's like.
I mean, I guess the probability is the same, right? 1 in a billion or 1 in a trillion.
I don't know. Like,
right.
Yeah. So it was like, oh yeah, like there is like, oh yeah, like who's to say like we're the giants to them?
Right.
Like whatever, right?
And then that's a crazy thing to think too. Like, what if we are actually just the most intelligent beings in this universe?
That's scary. Because
Like,
we're not.
Like, what if we are though?
That's scary.
And
Yeah.
if we are, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, bro.
I mean, we would hope we'd feel privileged, but at the same time, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
says
universe
lot.
there's a lot of universe to go around.
Yeah.
You know?
There's Twilight Zone was so good. But Twilight Zone has another episode where there's this UFO right in like a security place. It's a secured facility, but it turns out the world is going to blow up. Like they discovered the sun's gonna blow up, and like we need to get out of here. Well, there's this UFO that like this family. There's 2 families, right? And the dads work at this facility, so they know the ship's there, and it's a UFO. It's shaped like a flying saucer. And so the whole episode is like the world's gonna blow up. We need to get out of here. They like hijack the ship to get out, right? They like get chased by police and all this. They jump the fence. They hijack the ship. And at the very end of the episode, and they're humans, right? Like it's Earth, right?
Right.
So you think they're flying, and they're in space. And the little girl's like, "Daddy, where are we going?" And the dad's like, "Third planet from the sun. They call it Earth." And you're like, "Oh, they weren't even on Earth, bro.
Oh my!
They were in a whole different
God.
planet." And you're just like, "Fuck." So no, like there's some shit like that where you're like, I mean, it's not that far fetched. Like it could be. So let me ask you this, since you're a politician, do you think the government knows?
They gotta know something.
Yeah.
They gotta know something. I mean, they released those. The Pentagon released all those files about Area 51.
Yeah, I heard about that. And like with
UFOs,
COVID, no one cares. Like no one cared about it.
I mean, there was a whole ordeal. Like where they released, like, yeah, we have seen UFOs. We documented UFOs. We just, and again, UFO just means unidentified flying object. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they know, they've got intel that more than anybody in this world has, right?
Supposedly. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
That's
yeah. Like, okay, well.
Well, that's the thing. So I remember. I mean, but you gotta also consider like back in the Cold War, even before that, you had the SR-71, which don't quote me on this, but you had the SR-71, right, the Blackbird, which flew like on barely the atmosphere.
Played
like
a lot of COD and used it.
Yeah, exactly. You also had the stealth I don't remember the name of it. It has a name with the stealth ship and all this. Anyways, when it was in testing, right, the bottom of the SR-71 and the stealth is they're flat, like completely flat. Because the reason is like they fly so high up there, right? Mm-hmm. Well, other countries like saw this shit, right, and they're like, "What the fuck is that? It's a triangle flying on in the space." Nah, bro, that's just the stealth. We don't know it. They didn't know about it yet because it's still like top secret. Or like areas like there is files like that have been like released, like the SR-71. Where was it tested? Area 51. Like that's where they tested like the Cold War shit.
Yeah.
Right. Hell yeah, Area 51's probably creepy. Like yeah, there's some shit there probably, but for the most part, like if you really think about it, it's stuff that it's just like military equipment that haven't been released, and that's where they tested at. Now we know about Area 51. Imagine what we don't know. Like Area 52. Like, bro, like...
You see Independence Day?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, where they like go into Area 51 and it's like
aliens at the bottom.
Yeah, like, what the hell?
That's what I'm telling you. But like, who's to say that Area 51, like that's just like barely anything.
Right.
Like, there is some other places that we don't even know about. I think the government has to know something, bro. Like, they gotta know.
Well, hopefully I can get in a position where I can go in there. I'll get you the intel, see what it's about, and
it's crazy. Do you think that? Okay, so do you think that the president knows?
No, he knows for sure. Yeah.
You think they have to fill him in and tell that? Because like, if he doesn't know, like let's say Donald Trump has no clue, yes or no, that there's alien life. I'm sure he probably does. He's the president.
There could be. I mean, there could be like a political movement that would like, for instance, like everybody in government who's not Republican hates Trump.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want him getting the information. Maybe the person who controls that information is not in line with what he says. Yeah. So maybe he's hiding it.
Maybe. Well, my take on it is if it's so big that they don't even tell the president, like who runs it? Like who knows then? If the president doesn't know,
like the richest people in the world, or something like that.
In the movie Independence Day, like the president didn't even know Area 51 existed, right? In that movie, the president was like, I didn't know about this. Like how long did y'all know like we had aliens? So it blew my mind. It's like, well, then there's potential that like, dude, what if the president? It's so big and they're so top secret that the president can't even know. Like they don't even go to the president. Like they go to like, I don't even know, top general. Like I don't even know. Like who knows? Who would know? Who controls that?
Right.
It's crazy.
I don't know. Again, above my pay grade. That's
above my pay grade. I just smoke cigars, bro.
That's why I said, nah, that's not for me.
I'm just gonna do a podcast.
That life's not for me. Yeah, let me just start a podcast. Let me just be my own bubble, do what I want to do.
Yeah, let's just imagine. Yeah, no, it's crazy to think, and I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself from the other episode, but we're getting so much more in depth about it. But like the space and the ocean too. Like the ocean is. Like, I mean,
the
ocean's insane too.
I watched a documentary on like going back to Titanic.
Oh wow, yeah.
And like Titanic, they did like I think it was like 2002 or something like that. They went deep sea diving for Titanic. They found Titanic. Maybe it was a little bit before then. Awesome. They found the wreck. They was like, wow, look, this is awesome. They went down back in 2019. It's being destroyed.
Really?
It's deep in the ocean. The water pressure is ridiculous.
Yeah. Stuff's
deteriorating. Yeah. I mean, it's metal, but I mean, it's getting broken down by microorganisms that live down there.
Yeah.
And they're finding like actual like organisms that are feeding off Titanic. Like shit happens down there that nobody like.
Oh yeah, dude. There's like thousands of species that we haven't even discovered.
Yep.
Like, dude, who's to say like fish aren't aliens, bro?
They're alien to us for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, and that's the thing, aliens.
They're like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like
what really happened to dinosaurs, bro?
I don't know. I mean, because alligators and crocodiles look pretty.
They're pretty dinosauric. Turtles.
Right.
Turtles are all like reptiles.
They look. Big reptiles look like they
belong back in the.
Right. They could have been there. Yeah.
Well, here's the crazy part of it too. Jurassic Park. The sounds that the dinosaur makes, the way they look, we have no idea. We don't even know that's how they sound, bro.
That's rough.
And
that's crazy.
The colors,
I would think that
T-Rex could bark like a dog.
Like mankind's getting actually really good with like stem cell developments. Like they could like make a child theoretically out of the stem cells of a human. Like if you were able to track down some like frozen just like
dinosaur.
Yeah.
Wasn't that how Jurassic Park is, right? It was in that gold, or like it was in the. Remember he found that.
Yeah.
That's how
it was preserved.
Preserved, yeah. So yeah, maybe. Yeah, but who's to say? Like dinosaurs, dude, T-Rexes could be pink.
That could be pink.
Like we have no idea. I mean,
we don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
We don't know crap.
They could be feathery. They could have feathers.
Yep.
We don't know.
I mean, I think it's cool. The fossils that exist are incredible.
Yeah, but that's just the size and bones.
Yeah.
Ain't no meat. Ain't
Right.
No skin.
But I mean, it tells you like we've only been here a small portion of this world, right?
Yeah.
Mankind. Yeah, even in our own history, we lose track of it at some point. Like, when did man become civilized?
Yeah.
When did man begin? When did we begin to write things down? They have an idea.
Yeah.
And they have like some like what they claim to be the oldest society that wrote something down in like a book or like as like a testament to their society. But even that, like after that, like the Bible, everyone's like, these stories happen, but like what wasn't written down, you know?
Yeah, what wasn't. So yeah, the Bible's a huge thing too. I could do a whole episode on just the Bible. The university I went to, we had to take religious classes. And so one of the things we talked about was with religion and the Bible itself. The Bible is filled with books, right? The book of John, the book of Matthew, the book of Paul, right? Whatever.
Yeah, Corinthians.
Yeah, they're all books. So the Bible is like made up of different books.
Right.
There's a word, I don't remember the word, but the first 4 books of the Bible, the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they're like the life of Jesus, right? Like that's the 4 first books of the New Testament are about the life of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And they all contain similar stories, but they all contain stories that one person has but the other one doesn't. But then that one contains stories that person doesn't, but that one does.
Right.
It gets really confusing. So the theory is that there's a book called Q. We don't know. Again, it's a theory, but Q, letter Q.
Okay.
And Q was the actual New Testament. And from Q, these people got those stories. Because there's also theories like, well, who wrote what book, right? Because like the book of Peter didn't really write it. There's theories that it was actually his like assistant.
Mm-hmm.
There's like other books that no one knows who wrote it, and there's theories that like John wrote it or like whatever, right?
Right.
Because of how he writes and like how it compares to the book of John. It's theories like that. So even then, it's like we don't even know who wrote them. Like it's a whole other thing, bro.
Again, like I think there's a point where I just like take it as it's what it is.
It is what it is, bro.
It is what it is, man. I can't change. I'm not gonna argue.
There's
like,
books that aren't in the Bible, bro.
I think so. I think there's lost scriptures.
There's about like 9 books.
Yeah.
That some pope decided.
You ever reflect on that too? Like
it's a man who decided. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few religions too that have different texts.
Yeah.
That all say different things.
Yeah. Which one's right?
Are any of them right, or are they all just like concepts
bro.
to try to grasp the bigger meaning of emptiness in life?
Dude, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I the unknown worries me sometimes, bro.
It worries me, but I think probably like I'm not scared of death.
Okay.
But at the same time, in the back of your mind, you know that this is a finite life you're gonna live.
Dude, at the end of the back of your head, you're like, hey, you know this is happening. Like, death, like, it's unavoidable. Like, it's gonna happen to everybody.
Which is why I think that too. Like, if I didn't do some of the things that I did, even if they had some consequences, I wouldn't regret them. You know,
no,
you only got one. You got one life. You know, you got to just take it for what it's worth, and it's worth actually a lot because you have very limited time here.
Yes. Yeah.
And only you yourself can get on the stallion, get up, go in the right direction.
You're right, bro.
And make what you want out of it, because who knows what's after, if anything. You know, I think there is.
Yeah.
I think there is, but
who knows, bro?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. No one knows for sure. Scary thought, bro. All right, bro. Well, we're toward the end of our cigars.
Yes, sir.
So I think we're toward the end of this podcast. But before we leave, I have a jar with the labels of the cigars that we smoke, and we are going to put it in the jar.
Awesome.
So you could take off your wrapper.
This is a good concept too.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I like it.
I hope that one day, we get to fill up the jar. That's the goal. So let's put them in here.
You want me to tear it, or should I just put it in like
just
this?
throw it in just like that, bro. Oh yeah, I think I'm tearing mine up. It's all good. There you go, bro.
Boom.
It is in the jar. Yes, sir. The main event.
Yes, sir. Well,
Adrian
I got you
Berumen.
here. I
Yes.
assume a formal invitation to my podcast too. Hopefully we can work together.
Dude, let me know. I would love to be on Detached.
I actually need I'll need somebody ASAP for the next one.
Dude, let me know.
So you give me your availability.
Dude,
make it happen.
We will talk right after this, and we will make that happen.
Yes,
I
sir.
would love to be on the podcast. I would love to talk to you on your show, and we'll talk about your idea. And we can keep going with these conversations.
Yeah, and I'll
man.
give you a shout out too, and then everything, all that good stuff.
Yes, let's do it.
And it's about, like I said, it's about the interconnectedness.
It's about, dude. I made a post the other day. It was like, man, if I succeed but my friends fail, then I have failed.
Yep.
Like, everyone I know.
You want your friends to
I
succeed.
want
I saw that, yeah.
Dude, I want everyone to be successful, man. You know,
Yep.
like, don't be selfish. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
spread
everyone's
the
got
love. There's plenty of success to go around.
Bro, if I'm successful and you're successful, we combine our success. How much more successful could we be?
Exactly.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Adrian Berumen, thanks for being here, man.
Been a pleasure.
Yes. Adrian Berumen from Detached from the Surface and Cielo Azul,
Yes, sir.
the best mariachi group in Austin, Texas. Shout out.
Thank you, sir.
Adrian Berumen, thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you for inviting me, of course.
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for the cigar, too.
Oh, man. This is Cigar Night with Rick Guzman. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a great night.